We all have some special memories about the playground. A playground features play equipment such as slides and monkey bars, and the swing is one of the most loved play equipment among them. But did you know the thrilling experience of swinging actually comes from energy transformation? A swing may look simple, but it's actually an amazing example of how energy moves and changes. Every time the swing rises and falls, energy is constantly being exchanged within the system. In this video, we'll explore how that energy flows, transforms, and keeps the swing in motion. Let me explain the energy transformation by drawing. When the swing is pulled back and held at a higher position, it stores gravitational potential energy. At this point, the amount of energy depends on the swing's height and Earth's gravitational pull. Once the swing is released, gravity causes it to accelerate downward, transforming potential energy into kinetic energy, which is the energy of motion. When the swing is pulled back and released from the same height each time, each motion begins with the same amount of potential energy, which is mostly converted into kinetic energy at the lowest point. At the lowest point, the swing has maximum kinetic energy and moves at its fastest speed. As it begins to rise, gravity acts against the motion, slowing the swing down. The kinetic energy is gradually converted back into gravitational potential energy as the swing climbs higher. At the top of its path, the swing momentarily stops. All the remaining kinetic energy has turned into potential energy. It then swings back, repeating the same energy transformation in the opposite direction. Let's see how this looks in real life. We can now clearly see how kinetic energy and potential energy transform into each other. In theory, the swing should return to its original height each time. However, in reality, we can see that it doesn't. This is because the real world is not a perfectly isolated system. Some of the mechanical energy is converted into other forms of energy and leads to energy loss. As a result, a small amount of energy escapes to the surroundings, and the swing gradually loses height over time. Let's take a closer look at how this happens. The swing system is not a perfectly isolated system. Some energy is lost to the surroundings through friction at the pivot and air resistance, which act against the motion and convert part of the kinetic energy into heat and sound. As a result, the swing gradually slows down over time, even when no one touches it. However, since no external energy is added or removed, and the energy inside the system mainly transforms between gravitational potential and kinetic forms, it can be considered an approximately isolated system. In this case, the total mechanical energy inside the system remains nearly constant, with only small losses as heat and sound that spread into the environment. The lost energy doesn't disappear. It simply leaves the system and becomes part of the surroundings. This demonstrates that the total energy of the universe is conserved, but the energy within an individual system can decrease as it changes into other forms. Here's our conclusion. The swing system clearly demonstrates how energy is exchanged and conserved. Gravitational potential energy transforms into kinetic energy as the swing moves downward, and kinetic energy turns back into potential energy as it rises. Some energy is lost to the surroundings as heat and sound, but the total amount of energy is never destroyed. It only changes form. Even though friction and air resistance cause the swing to slow down, this lost energy is not destroyed, it simply transfers to the environment. The system can be considered approximately isolated because no external energy enters or leaves, but only internal transformations occur between potential and kinetic energy. The swing is a clear real-life example that shows how energy transforms and dissipates while total energy remains constant. Overall, it demonstrates that energy can move, transform, and seem to disappear, yet according to the law of conservation of energy, the total energy of the universe always stays the same. Thank you for watching.